Welcome everyone back to Pommy and us. Hope we're all doing really well. Firstly, thank you. We hit 3K. Operation 3K done. Can't thank you enough. We've seen a massive upturn in subscribers, so that is grouse. If you want to go a step further, there is a link in the description where you can become a member of the channel, become part of a wonderful community. No obligation. Just hit the like and subscribe though, girls. Road to 10K. Let's get it. Let's try and get into 5 figures. That would be grouse. So what we're doing today is we're going to take a look into the future. We're going to get the crystal ball out. We're going to have a look at what the landscape will look like in 2030. So what we've done is we've taken 3 from every line with a bit of obscurity as the AFL does, and then 1 ruckman. So that's 10 players, and have a look at who I think will be the top talents in the AFL in 2030. So bit of creativity on this one. So let's have a look at it. And the first guy we're going to talk about is a guy we featured quite heavily on this channel recently, Jedd Busslinger. Now, I've got a sneaky feeling that this guy is going to be absolutely sensational when he hits in the AFL. And there's a reason that I think it. I think when you look at all of his prowess, his skills, I think he really translates into the AFL very quickly, whether that's going to be as a key defender, but I've got a sneaky feeling that he's going to be like a Tom Stewart type player. He's going to really get them intercept marks using his exceptional footy IQ, very good with the ball in hand, by hand and foot, exceptionally composed, and I think he's going to be a real transitional threat and a player that when we're in 2030, we're going to be looking at and going, Jesus, you know what I mean? He's coming to the peak of his powers. He'll be 26, 27. He'll be a very frightening prospect. And I think that when he gets going in the AFL, he's going to be a very, very dangerous player. So one to look out for, I think. The next one is Sam De Koning. And I think at this stage in his career, he'll be one of the premier keys. I think he's incredibly good already. But I think by 2030, this guy will be a seasoned vet, probably be part of the leadership group by then. I think he'll still be at Geelong. And I think he'll be really playing his trade, being one of them wily old heads at Geelong and really, really keeping them relevant. I think he's got not many deficiencies in his game as of yet, either. Very strong one-on-one, very good overhead. He reads the play incredibly well. And I think by this stage, we're going to be looking at a player that is just going to be really dynamite, a kind of player that we're really excited about seeing. And I'm looking forward to seeing his development because, let's be honest, it has been almost sensational, hasn't it? Particularly this year, he's really stood out in a flag-winning side. And there's not many things to worry about, is there really? Do you know what I mean? The 3 intercept marks, he's a pretty good spoiler, tough to beat one-on-one. I think he'll only get better. Next up is a surprise for some, but I think Jordan Clark. I think off that half-back line, you just swing through the midfield and the wing. I reckon as he gets a little bit older, we'll start to see him maybe go a bit forward. But for now, I think we can count him. And I think that this guy here, when you look at Fremantle, do you know what I mean? He's very strong. And I think that they'll start, as he gets a little bit older, he'll definitely really stay in that half-back line. And I'm a big fan. He'll be 30 years old at this stage. I reckon he'll be leading from that high half-back line, really looking to break lines, to take the game on. Jordan Clark, I'm a big fan of. He hasn't got many weaknesses in his game, and I think he's in the right place. Geelong may have lost him, but I just think he's going to be really, really solid and have a real long career at Fremantle. And I think by 2030, this guy will be nightmare scenario for a lot of sides. Just like that Rory Laird type role, taking the game on, pinch hitting in the midfield, slotting in a halfback and really causing chaos. Into the mids then, Nick Daicos. What a footballer this guy is. Easily the best player in this year's draft, and he will continue playing a lot down back. I reckon he'll go full-time midfield. And what can you say about this kid? This kid is elite in every sense of the word. He has whatever X factor is, he has it. And I think his ability to find the ball, but also be incredibly damaging in that final third by 2030 will be poignant. He'll be well in his prime of his career, and I think he will be chaos. And there's three guys we're going to talk about in the midfield that I am super amped about seeing playing together and incredibly privileged to be in a scenario where I get to see all three play. But Nick Daicos, I think, is just going to be head and shoulders. He's going to mean multiple Brownlows. Do you know what I mean? I reckon there's about 6 Brownlows between the three mids we're talking about here. And Nick Daicos, I think he'll just be sensational. I think by this stage as well, you've started to see that development of his defensive craft at Collingwood. I think he'll be very well rounded by this age. And I think he will be a superstar. I think he will go down as a legend of the Collingwood Football Club. I'm a huge, huge fan of Nick. Next guy, my boy, Sam Walsh. Probably, in my opinion, one of the most consistent footballers in the AFL. And I think Mr. Consistency is going to come to the fore. He'll be 33 years old, probably averaging about 40 touches at this stage. Hopefully a multiple flag winner at this stage. Definitely will be a Brownlow winner. And there's not many chinks in this guy's armour, is there? This guy's armour is well-rounded. I think by this stage as well, and I think you'll start to see from 2023 onwards, Carlton's midfield is so complete, barring injuries, that you'll start to see that more offensive Sam Walsh that we saw in 2021 getting inside 50. Once them goals start coming, this guy's a 20-goal minimum a year type footballer as well. Very assured when he's running inside 50. Bit more confidence. I think that this guy here will be a superstar. I think watching Daicos versus Walsh is going to be something we talk about for the next decade, particularly in them Carlton Collingwood feuds. And I think it's going to be an absolutely sensational time to be alive for the football world. Walsh and Daicos, two very damaging, very high energy, very hard running, hard at it players who also have huge elements of class. Two players I'm excited about seeing going head to head. But for me, Sam Walsh will probably be, will be a superstar, even though he is already. I think he'll be even more of a superstar by 2030. We'll be talking very excited about him. And the next guy, he's not even in the AFL yet, but he's that good and a guy that I've really enjoyed watching as a kid. And he'll be only 24, 25 at this stage. And that is Harley Reid. Do you know what I mean? Will be a midfielder by this stage. Been playing more across the forward line, but this guy here is deadly. Strong at the ball, incredible pace, line-breaking speed, real eye-catching type player, very strong aerially. I think by this stage here, he'll be one of them young guns, you know, the mid-age players where which team ever drafts him, he's going to be in some supreme form. And this guy's got everything already. You can see he's not going to be a kind of guy that falls off very quickly. Really excited about seeing Harley Reid in the comp. And this year, keep a lookout at the Bendigo Pioneers as the draft builds up, because he is aggressive as well. Do you know what I mean? Hard tackling, very strong around the stoppages, keen eye for goal. He's got not many deficiencies, and he's going to be a very exciting player. I'm looking forward to seeing him come through the draft next year. Probably pick one we're talking about there. Forwards then. I reckon by this stage, people are going to be looking and going, oh, you know what? We talked a lot about that kicking deficiency. Fuck, he's good. Bailey Humphrey. For me, I think Bailey Humphrey is going to take the AFL by storm. I think once he settles in, this kid here is something special. He is X-Factor talent. Don't like doing AFL comparisons, but you remember Dusty 2017? Do you know what I mean? This kid can change games. And I think by that stage, I think looking at the draft position, he's going to be at a club that's fortunate in the terms of that he's going to be utilised. And I think he's going to be a very valuable cog. He's going to get game time, really brush up on his game. It's not a hard thing to teach. It's not a hard thing. I think people are looking at it and thinking that his deficiencies with his kicking technique can easily be ironed out in AFL. And he's a superstar. And I think by 2030, we're going to be looking and going, Jesus, why don't we pick 3, 4, 5, 6? Very good footballer. I can't wait to see him. Max King. Can't wait to see. I think we're in a very luxurious period of tall forwards. You've got Cadman, you've got Jefferson coming through. You've got Mr. Charlie Kerner, my boy. We've got Harry Mackay. We've got the King brothers. And Max King, for me, is just different gravy. You've got Norton in that line as well. You've got the back end of Hawkins, but Cameron to come through as well. This guy here, Max King, is special. And I know a lot of people talk about, you know, he kicks behind and stuff. I think that that's going to be ironed out, a little bit of petulance. And by this stage, I think he's going to be an absolute jet think he's a one-club player as well. I can't see him leaving. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Ben King at some stage join him. But I think Max King is special. Incredibly special. That overhead marking, his movement is just imperious, isn't it, really? It's so deadly. I'm a huge fan. Max King will be there. Another new guy to finish with, Archer Reid. And we could have probably gone with Ruck or Toe here, but I think the brother of Zach Reid is going to be something special. And the AFL love a basketballer, don't they? Former basketballer. This guy is just exceptional in the air. Very strong overhead. Very strong below his knees. Very good kicking technique. Very mobile. Very agile. Massive goal scoring potential. But also at 201 already, an absolute beast. And I think this kid here, in 8 years' time, is going to be a real force. A lot of people talk about Luke Jackson. I think that this guy will blow Luke Jackson away. I really do. And I think you're going to see, I do think that the modern day ruckman is going to be more of a ruck forward as we move on into a more mobile AFL. And I think you'll start to see a lot more of them ruck types come through the draft, which we are. And I think Archer Reid is going to slot in. I think he'll be very deadly. And I think we're in a real golden age of mids and offense. And I think it's going to get better. And I think the AFL just need to bide their time. Instead of changing the rules, these players, because of the rule changes, are starting to become highly more mobile and highly more adaptive. And Archer Reid is really eye-catching. And we finished, and I think Sean Darcy stuck by it last year, and I'm sticking by him again. It'll be really that mature age ruck at this stage. And I think Darcy will be in Victoria, is my prediction at this stage. And I think with all the players that are coming through the AFL draft in the next couple of years, look out. Do you know what I mean? Look out. Because I've got a feeling that Carlton may pick him up. And I think Sean Darcy is going to be a superstar. I think he's going to be the last of the physicality rucks. And I think at this stage, he's going to be so dominant. I think he's going to be an absolute piece de resistance. And I wouldn't be surprised to see, honestly, like I say, these guys, this guy leave. Wouldn't be surprised to see him leave this time when it comes through. He is a very good footballer and one that you need to look out for if you are taking the AFL draft seriously next year. The one to look out for if you're looking at free agencies this time next year, because this guy here, I think, just will be a victim of some of the movements that will occur next year. But Darcy is already a premier ruckman, in my opinion, one of the top ruckmen. I think by this stage, I think he's just going to be sensational. I think he'll have sorted his body issues out. I think at this stage, he'll have so much nous. He's a very crafty type player. Looking forward to seeing the development. So they're my 10 for 2030. Have a go in the comments. Have a go. There's a few that, missed out. I think Lewis Young's going to be superb. Do you know what I mean? I've got a smoky on Jack Carroll and Jesse Motlop as well from my team, but I've tried to be impartial. I could have quite easily done 10 Carlton. If you're interested in just a Carlton one, I'll do 10 pure Carlton ones because I could talk about them all day. But let me know in the comments. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe as well. And until next time, Pommy.